All right, guys, how are you? So, today we are going to talk about the monolithic architecture. Okay, so what is monolithic architecture? If everything is completely packed and not separatable, that's called monolithic. Let's take an example of this molded vehicle. Okay, so when I say molded vehicle, its parts are not detachable easily, right? It's tightly coupled. If I want to repair a glass of this bus, I cannot. I have to break the entire bus, right? So this is the best example architecture for monolithic. What are all the comparison points when it comes to application, right? So if it is a monolithic architecture, the application has its authentication layer, authorization layer, presentation layer, business logic layer, data access layer, everything packed together as a single application. That's called tightly coupled architecture. So always monolithic architectures are tightly coupled architectures. So what is the benefit out of it? So the benefit, if you see, it is easy to test. So if you make this molded car, first of all, it's easy to make, right? It's one mold is sufficient for making this vehicle. And second thing is test. You don't need to test each and every component of this because all components are tightly coupled together. So you can just use one generic test whether it is moving or not, right? So easy to build, easy to test, and easy to deploy, right? You can just deploy as a one piece and you don't need to worry about other dependent components. All dependent components are together with the same piece. And another point is it can be horizontally scalable, right? I can create multiple molded vehicle like this, right? Because I have a sample template. I don't need to make each and every piece separately and assemble it together, right? That's additional advantage. So these are all the advantages of having monolithic architecture. And what is the drawback, right? When it comes to the drawback side of this monolithic architecture, it is tightly coupled, right? Suppose if there is a problem on the authentication layer, you still have to revert the complete code and then fix the authentication problem and deploy it. And if there is a problem with presentation layer and your business logic layer is completely fine, but the problem is with your presentation layer, still you have to revert the deployment, fix the presentation layer, and deploy the application because the application is tightly coupled. So coming to the agile, right? Agile world, the agility. This monolithic architecture is time consuming. It will make other developers to wait. Let's say like we have a UI developer and a middle layer developer. So if there is a problem with presentation layer where UI developer has to go and work, and the middle layer or UI or Java developer or middle layer developer should have to wait for that fix to be up and running in production, and once that is running fine, and then he has to make the change to the middle layer. And there are possibilities that the fix of presentation layer may impact the middle layer because those two are tightly coupled. And suppose if a Java developer who is working on a business logic layer making a change, that will impact the database as well. So these are all the major problems or drawbacks of the monolithic architecture. All right, I hope you might have got something about monolithic architecture today. We'll talk about other architectures in upcoming sessions. Bye.